I'm delighted to be joined now by Limerick hurler Sean Finn following the announcement of Optimum Nutrition as the new official performance nutrition partner of the Gaelic Players Association. To mark the launch of the new 3-year partnership, Optimum Nutrition is giving GA clubs across Ireland the opportunity to win a top prize of state-of-the-art gym, along with a year's supply of Optimum Nutrition products worth €25,000. The runner-up in the competition will win a year's supply of Optimum Nutrition product for their club worth €5,000 to further their training and performance goals. Visit optimumnutrition.com or at optimumnutrition_.ie. Jeez, that was a fair mouthful, Sean. I got through it.
You're doing well. Well done.
How are things with you anyway? I know I'm not really going to talk to you too much about the current goings on with matches, but like a week ago, I thought Tipp are back, and now I'm feeling like Tipp aren't back. But like that was a brilliant match you had.
Yeah, very excellent match. Tipp were very impressive. They set up really well. They were really accurate in their execution of what they were doing, particularly in their puck outs. And we struggled at times in the first half to deal with it, but very satisfying with the response we got in the second half and got the result that we were looking for.
Yeah, and great to get back into another league final as well. It's no harm to keep collecting these medals if you can.
Yeah, for sure. They're important, you know. The career in hurling is quite short, so when you do get opportunities to challenge for national titles, it's important to take them and give them the respect and give the league the respect it deserves. We've always given that, and it's reflected in our results so far, and we're hoping to give a performance that gets us a result next Sunday week.
Will you talk to me about hurling in Bruff? Because like I remember as a young lad driving to Bruff, and the thing that stood out was the fine rugby ground. But obviously you play hurling there as well. But you've had a good run. You won a title last year, or am I right?
We lost the I suppose like all the clubs in Limerick, the success that Limerick have had over the last 5 or 6 years has brought so much excitement and attention to Gaelic games in Limerick, and no different to our club at home, where a lot of new people are joining the club, and we've a lot of the guys that are playing underage at Limerick, whether it be minor 20s or in the academies, and we'd be a small club, but to see a lot of players involved with Limerick's teams is a real positive, but that is on the back of the success we've had over the last number of years. But we were unfortunate last year. In one sense, it was a successful year, albeit we didn't win the county final, but with the age profile, we'd hope to have learned a lot. And on the day, Moonleen were worthy winners, and they showed their quality when they went on to win the All-Ireland final. But we'd hope to have learned a lot, but it just shows that we're not too far away from competing at a local level, but also there's honours at stake when you go beyond Limerick in Munster and in All-Ireland campaigns as well.
Yeah, probably no harm for Moonleen to be able to lean on Paul Kinnerk as well. I know Owen Breslan had him in once or twice.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that now. Maybe that was the difference.
What about, I was talking to Dave Clark before, and he was saying you used to work in his bar. Do you have any fond memories of that?
Yeah, I was there for a number of years. Had some great times working there, but also spending time there out to the other side of the bar. But he's a great guy. He was great to me, and he continues to be. But yeah, I was a young lad then, and Dave was actually, funnily enough, involved with Limerick at the time in 2016 when I done my cruciate. I was only involved with Limerick for a couple of weeks before I got released from the panel. But he'd be hugely passionate hurling man. Proud of what I have done and what us as a group has done over the last couple of years, considering he would have been familiar or would know quite a lot of us as well from his time in 2015, 2016. So, had some good days there.
Were you still in school? Were you like a Limerick minor when you were working there?
I was, maybe playing minor hurling, and I was playing 20s at the time as well. And I was just when I was during college as well, just a bit of pocket money that I was saving up, but he was well able to work me hard now.
Another thing I heard is now, and I could have this wrong because it was a few years ago, it said to me, did you work in a chipper in Bruff, or was there some sign up in a chipper in Bruff, or will you try and jog my memory on this?
So yeah, I worked in a chipper in Bruff for 6 years, Linz, and I worked there for coming up to, funnily enough, I worked there for a few hours before the All-Ireland final in 2018 as well.
Go ahead.
Friday night, but it was my routine. I was just working away, just similar to going through college, and it was a way of making a few quid for myself. And the guys there were great for me. We always go crack behind the counter. There's a good few young lads working there, and the guys that are always working there, and Dave and Shane Glynn are great Limerick supporters as well, but they were great to me while I was playing and working there. But great place to have a chip or a takeaway as well. So when you're passing through rough, stop in.
Is it a family place? Like, is
No,
it family owned?
Yeah, family owned place.
Oh.
So yeah, great place. Get in there.
Yeah. I grew up, my parents had a chipper for a while as well, so you'd get fairly hooked on the old milkshakes if you were in there too often.
Yeah, at the time I was obviously a couple of years younger. I got away with eating the food quite regularly, but I don't know if I get away with doing or consuming as much food as I did then nowadays.
And would they have put up posters to support you then up on the window or anything like that, or would they keep it
Yeah,
local?
they continue to do it. They're fantastic supporters. My brother, who is playing underage with Limerick as well, works there as well. And I completely understand it with time off and stuff, and they're very flexible. But as I said, they've been great to me, and they continue to support Limerick GA as well, and locally as well for our club in Bruff.
Okay, and then like in terms of like you talking about you having, how old is your brother in the system? Because I'm thinking Richie English, his younger brother, is coming through as well. Looks a great prospect.
Yeah, he's 19 now, so he's evolved into 20s, and would have come up through the academy structures at Limerick as well, which is hugely positive for him and our club, and just to see a couple of young lads too in our own club competing at minor level as well is hugely positive. But it's exciting for me even to see them coming through as well. I haven't really seen much rough players playing with Limerick over the last number of years, so I get huge reward or huge satisfaction out of seeing those young lads coming up and seeing them play from a young age, but then also go on to play with Limerick at underage as well. So hopefully that'll be the case in the senior level where they'll be able to push on a bit further in a couple of years.
So when you were probably talking in the last year or two about having different sized hurleys depending on the position you play, at 36 or was it maybe a 34 if you're out centre back with the club or whatever, is that brought up with you all the time now?
All the time.
Right,
yeah.
Okay.
Leave it out. It's nothing spectacular. It's just position specific. Felt the need that maybe in corner forward, inter-county level, it would give an added advantage, but it's not that exciting.
No, it's not. So at this point, I was looking at the stats there. You haven't scored yet in league or championship, have you? Or did you in league?
Yeah, that's it. I have never scored with Limerick before, and I've been made well aware of that over the last few weeks, where Mike Casey and Barry Nash continue to contribute on the scoreboard, and Aaron Costello and early in the season has got a score on the board, and Nicky over the last couple of years has managed to get a score somehow. But yeah, I'm a defender's defender now. I haven't scored yet, but
yeah. But your former teammate Shane Dowling was showing the other day with Mike Casey bursting forward from the back. Obviously, Barry Nash does it. You'll have to start getting notions soon.
I know. I'll have to. And look, there's just, it's not just us doing it. All teams are doing it where there's opportunities depending on teams set up for maybe defenders to contribute offensively as well. We're no different to any other team that might do it as well. But yeah, it'd be a good buzz to get a score someday now.
Yeah. So, like, you know, when you go out into these matches and there's like 50,000 maybe at Thurles or 80,000 at Croke Park, do you still get the same buzz now as you did when you first started experiencing that?
Yeah, I do. To be fair, I get quite nervous coming up to games, and you think over experience that you'd be able to manage those nerves a bit more, but you still haven't managed to deal with them. But oftentimes when you do get out pucking around in the field, you're not familiar with the crowd. And once you begin to puck around, those nerves begin to disappear because it's just you're doing what you've been doing or training for the last number of months to do that. But I suppose maybe it's something that you'd like to maybe enjoy the occasions that bit more than what you are currently. Sometimes you get consumed by nerves and consumed by maybe just trying to get the best of yourself and maybe take a step back. It's quite difficult at times when the games are so demanding to just reflect on the game in the moment and enjoy it for what it is, because you train so hard to get there. Sometimes it just passes you by. So at the moment, I've failed to do that, and I'm still struggling with nerves coming up to games.
And do you know when you're doing the parade, especially around Croke Park, do you look up at the crowd or you keep the head down?
I do. I try to take it in as much as possible. Like it's hugely exciting. It's extraordinary to go around and see the energy or feel the energy that the crowd gives and the passion that Limerick supporters or the opposition supporters have for Gaelic games and their team. And look, it's really exciting to be involved in that and to feel that energy. And nerves then come with that, but nerves feel like when you get nervous, then you become sharper, and it just shows that what you're doing means a lot to you.
If you're what, 26 26 or 7 now, are you?
27.
Okay. If you could go back to like 17 or 18-year-old self and give them a sort of word of advice about what's going to come down the line or what to be prepared for, do you have any idea what sort of advice you'd give?
I'd advise them try, and it's very difficult and to do so, but try to enjoy playing minor hurling with Limerick, or try enjoy playing underage teams with Limerick or under 20s, because all things considered, there's bigger things for them to go after in the future, and sometimes they put so much pressure on themselves, oftentimes maybe from coaches or parents, that they forget to enjoy it. And if I had my time back, I'd try maybe enjoy those days a bit more and not put as much pressure as I maybe did. But on the other side of that, if you didn't maybe put the pressure on yourself as much, would you have got to where you are today? So it's just getting that balance right. But it's just trying to enjoy it and enjoying the journey, enjoying going training. But as I said, I've failed to do that so far, so it's hard to advise someone on an underage team to do that.
And are you good at, like, you know, the way at training sessions, you obviously have to take it very seriously when you're doing whatever the next activity is. But in between, are you able to relax and have a bit of crack and then immediately just switch back on, or are you just focused all the time?
Yeah, I am. I think it's a good strength of our group, and we're able to really enjoy ourselves on the downtime outside of the season. But when we're even in training and stuff, there's always good humour and good crack, and there are times in training or outside of training where you can bring humour and personality. Lads bring their own personality and traits into the group and into sessions, which is important, you know, because it keeps things fresh as well, and you need lads being themselves and not being serious all the time.
Who's the most skillful player you've ever played with or against?
Keenan Chastavy.
Yeah, I was thinking like he was unbelievable against Tipp. Like, he seems to be fully back to top form.
Yeah, he's an extraordinary guy, both on and off the field. But he does be doing things in training. You obviously see glimpses and patches of it in matches and stuff, but he does some incredible things in training that you get so much satisfaction out of seeing it. But he's just a great guy, great hurling brain about him, and obviously great to see him back this year as well in full fitness.
And on TikTok, fairly good dancer as well.
I'm not on TikTok myself, but I'm aware that he's a good dancer. He's a great guy. Like, he's a great personality, great character, and people can see that in any interviews he does. He's really true to himself, and couldn't speak highly of him.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be half the player if he wasn't so chilled out. He just, you know, if he was any more relaxed, he'd be lying down, I'd say.
Yeah, good guy. It makes him what he is. Like, in fairness, he places a particular emphasis. He always says, lads, try and enjoy the occasion. Oftentimes before All-Ireland finals, where lads might be very tense, he really places emphasis on trying to enjoy the occasion. And sometimes you're thinking he's daft when he's telling you to enjoy an All-Ireland final when you're so nervous. But that's just how laid back he is and how chilled he is. And I'd love to maybe take a leaf out of that book and learn from him.
Well, I'm just going to finish off with a quick Q&A. It's all not very serious questions, so answer them as long or short as you like. What was your first time ever being at Croke Park? Now, this could be as a supporter, player, whatever.
First time being at Croke Park was the All-Ireland semi-final against Waterford in 2007.
A great day for you.
Great day. All the goals we scored as well, yeah.
Favorite, what was it? Too slow, too... What was it? The thing about Donny Ryan? Too slow, too old, too. You know, something like that, yeah. Favorite player of all time?
Peter Casey.
I was going to ask you who's been your toughest opponent, and then I'm thinking you'd probably say him in training.
I'm a fan of a lot of those lads who are playing at the moment, some great skillful hurlers, but toughest mark to training, I'll give it to Aaron Gillane. He's very challenging. All have different, but yeah, Peter Casey or Aaron Gillane.
Yeah. Outside of Limerick, who's the toughest man to mark?
I don't want to answer that question.
What's the team you most like to beat?
Not Gaelic and Bruff.
I was hoping you'd say Tipperary. Who's been the biggest influence on your career?
My father, to be fair, and my mother as well.
Who's the joker on the panel, on the Limerick panel?
Kyle Hayes.
Why?
He's just a great character. He's again a guy that's really true to himself and brings all his personality to the group, and it brings so much energy and enthusiasm to the group. He's just a super guy.
Who's the best trainer?
Rich English.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Who's the best dressed and the worst dressed?
Worst dressed, Keane Lynch. Best dressed, William O'Donoghue or Seamus Flanagan.
Okay. Who thinks that the women love them?
Dan Morrissey.
Okay. What player from another sport do you admire?
Once. I don't know, to be honest, Shane. I follow a lot of UFC. I'm big into the MMA. I wouldn't say I admire Conor McGregor, but what he's done for sport is absolutely great. But as a role model, he's not a fellow you'd be aspiring to.
He's definitely not. But have you ever done MMA, or are you just like watch it?
Just watch it.
Yeah. Any fighter you do like outside of him?
I like Leon Edwards, to be fair. The guy from Liverpool.
And I'll finish up then. What manager from another sport do you admire?
Arsene Wenger. I'm an Arsenal supporter, so I Mikel Arteta is obviously a great guy as well.
Yeah, you must be feeling good about Arsenal at the moment.
Yeah, there's a few supporters in the group there that support Arsenal, and there's jerseys coming out that have never been seen outside of their house, so that's good crack.
Do you have any of the retro ones, like the one from the 90s with the sort of lightning going down the arm?
No, I don't. No.
That was class. Sean, pleasure chatting to you, and best of luck.